Or were you not? On a gay cruise.
No, you're 120% dick pic.
Everybody that age, they're sperminator.
Yeah.
We don't care about anything else. We're a walking hard on looking for a hole.
That's. I have to say you're right on that one. Oh, my God.
A stiff breeze comes through the room and you return the favor.
Gonorrhea. No. Somewhere on the outside of this building, there is a hole where squirrels come in.
Better than a hole where dicks come in.
Yeah, better than that.
Going down the stairs to wash the laundry. What the hell? Shh. Pizza. Stop! Stop it now! I order you to stop! I'm still touching myself.
Yeah!
All young bitches want to do is pop pills, smoke weed, get drunk, lay around, suck dick, eat hot Cheetos, charge they phone, get a sew and weave, twerk, be bisexual, eat McDonald's, wash they pussy in the sink, lie, take selfies, and talk shit through Wi-Fi because they phone never on.
I think washing they pussy in the sink is my favorite part. The Vietnamese trade in dongs. Figuratively and literally, I'm sure.
Oh, my God, that's hilarious.
I did decide to look it up. 500,000 dongs is a good night for Popp's ex.
Like most women, he's an emotional thinker.
Good God.
I mean, that's part of the problem we're having now in our society is we have a bunch of emotional thinkers that want the world to fall in line with their emotions. It's not... look, reality doesn't give a shit about emotions.
It's my lived truth. Fuck your lived truth.
No, it's not. It's your perspective.
Kiss my ass.
Literally like, hey, Sergeant Popp, you got to turn your bear suit. I'm like, over my dead body. No. Just give me a statement of charges. Yeah. You're never getting this back. Yeah. You can suck it.
I'm going to wear this with my Russian coat.
you will bury me in this. Hey! Why you gotta fucking be like that, man?
Because I'm an asshole, and I learned from the best. I'm sitting across from him, and I'm pointing at you with all four fingers.
All right, first of all, the Russian jacket is World War II surplus.
I'll send you a picture of it, Sarge.
Yeah, okay.
I got you standing wearing it with holding two giant buckets like you just collected all the chum from behind the dump dumpster at the bar and you're going to go home and make ice cream out of it.
What's up, savages? Terrence Popp here with another episode that actually is live from the lair. And today we're going to be covering a subject that we all were exposed to on July 13th, 2024, when a particular douchey abaggy decided to take some shots at the former president. And then the FBI came out and said that it might have been shrapnel or glass. And then another FBI guy said, no, it was a bullet. Then it was downranked on the Google. And they tried to disappear the picture that had the bullet actually in there. Well, today we're going to be talking about assassinations from the past and how they're always used as a tool of last resort, and there's always the same variables in the background, even several thousand years ago until today, or let's say July 13th. Now, on the news cycle today, apparently they caught an individual from Pakistan with Iranian ties who may or may not have been involved in some kind of nefarious plot to yet again take out the former president. All right. Now, I believe that there will be two attempts or two more attempts if the plans actually get to the point where a freedom seed is released into the wild or not. I don't know. I was thinking maybe poison or some crazy stuff like that. Now, I don't want that to happen, but I am an evil genius and I can't turn it off. So I always think about stuff like that. All right, we've got Battle Dwarf here tonight, and we got evil button pushing Jimmy.
What's going on, everybody?
Let's have a little fun before we get things started. Popp has talked about Mead before, and I've been making Mead for years, and I always give him Mead. I went downtown the other day and bought a bottle of the Mead. I'm not going to show the label. I don't want to put these people's names on the web and have them come after us and say mean things, but this is supposedly the best Mead in Detroit. Now, you can see.
It's the size of a Coke bottle.
It's about the size of a Coke bottle. This is $24 worth of Mead here. Take a sip of that for me. Tell me what you think.
Well, you could tell it's got it's got a sugary taste above and beyond the honey.
Yes. Yeah. They don't know how to make mead.
What's the alcohol content on that? 14%?
This is 13.
13? So I was only off by 1.
12.3.
Okay.
12.3.
Because yours has around 16.
Yes. Mine's a kick in the ass, but it actually tastes like mead because the only ingredients are honey and water. You can tell there's sugar in that. This is supposedly the best mead in the city.
Well, I remember the bottle I bought, and I literally opened it.
Yes.
And within 3 days, it had mold growing on the top.
They don't ferment the mead. And I learned this lesson when I was in Wales, and I tried a glass of mead, and it was like sunshine in a glass.
Yeah.
And I asked the guy, and he says, "You Americans, you fucking don't leave it go long enough. You got to let it age." So there you go. There you go. So we'll be selling mead next year. There will be mead to be had. Meanwhile, we have some fun tonight because we're going into the history realm, which is my particular happy place.
Yep.
We're actually going to touch on a couple of incidents that happened in Latin-speaking countries. So nobody needs to speak Latin, right?
Mm-hmm. You're correct. Well, first of all, in current year, Latin in contracts is a trap for slavery.
Why is that a trap for slavery?
Listen, I'm a normal dude.
Yes.
I read English.
Right.
You should present a contract written in English.
So if I walk into an arms room right now and you'd start describing all of the various weapons and I have no idea what you're understanding, should I make you speak normal person?
I try to do that. That's why it's grunt speak.
Grunt speak is not normal person.
Well, grunt speak is like 10th, 11th grade
boiled
education.
Down, yeah, for an E3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. But if I walk you into the arms room for the 18 series school.
Oh, no, you're fucked.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Latin. You'll be fine. I promise.
Okay. Well, I'm not a fan of it.
That's fine. You don't have to speak it. I'll do that part.
Yeah,
anyway, 24
speakers can smurf my balls.
Smurfus mein ballus. It's the actual Latin for that. Probably not, but I'm just going to go with it. 24 assassinations that changed the world, from political leaders to human rights activists. You get the idea here. That assassination attempt on Trump is classic last-ditch effort type of stuff.
Desperation.
It is. It's desperation. It smacks of desperation. And if you know enough history, you can see through this sort of thing and not look at it as the sensationalism that they try to paint it as, you'll notice that it is pretty much entirely dropped out of the news cycle. They wore to death the position of the shooter and then buried it because they got everybody bored with it. What they did was never talk about the political aspect of it at all. Never talk about who might have had an interest in causing that shooter to do stupid stuff.
All right. Well, let's stop it right there.
Let's stop. What?
All right. The people, in my opinion,
Yes.
who wanted this to happen,
Yes.
would be Saya, Fubaya, Nasaya, because think about all of the bureaucrats in the top 3 layers of the alphabet agencies who've been there for decades. They're not elected. They get a ton of money. They have way too much fucking power, and they're abusing it, and now we're seeing it.
Okay, so I've seen the real top tier guys from no such agency.
Yep.
They all have pocket protectors, tape on their glasses, and spend a lot of time masturbating to anime. That rules them out. They probably they could have provided some of the information, but I guarantee you there's no, what's that movie with Gene Hackman? Enemy of the State.
Enemy of the State.
We watched that movie. I was one of those guys at the time. We watched that movie. We're like, I wish we had those powers.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool if we had, because there's no strike teams. That's not a thing. It doesn't exist. Not in no such agency. Christians in action, there's a possibility there.
Well, I know individuals who contracted with Christians in Action to hunt individuals down in various countries.
I know that.
They got paid handsomely.
They tend to operate oconously. I know a couple of guys who did some stuff like that as well, and the contracts are very nice. And then I know some green beanies who went on to become bodyguards for lesser Saudi royalty who were making like low 7 digits.
Yep.
But then, of course, you've got Christians in Action and no such agency. And then, of course, the Phoebes. My money is on the Phoebes little mind games program.
Yeah.
I think this smells like Phoebes to me.
And I also think, this is just my opinion, that the people at the top of the Secret Service did the 3 shell Monty with his security detail. Taking people away, putting stranger people in there, people who weren't even Secret Service trained.
Lunch lady?
Yes, lunch lady.
Yeah.
And then
lunch lady and the wine ant.
There was no attempt to coordinate with the local PD because they were supposed to have a meeting at 9:00 and they didn't.
So how do you do that?
Well, it's the blow-off treatment because they're like, oh, those are just podunk police. We don't even have to monitor their frequencies. If Secret Service was monitoring the frequencies of the podunk police in the area, they would have said, wow, we got some shit going on out there 40 minutes before the Freedom Seeds flew.
Well, see, I've worked some major level comms for 1 or 2 of those type of operations, and the how do you do that I was looking for is you do that at the bureaucratic shuffle level.
Yes.
It's not done with the guys on the ground because the guys on the ground will just follow whatever is on their fucking clipboard. They will do whatever's on their clip. They just go to their appointed areas and
they'll do the op order.
They'll do their thing. They'll execute the op order.
Yep.
The chicanery happened at the bureaucratic shuffle level.
That's what I meant by the 3 shell Monty.
It is 3 shell Monty is one version. The bureaucratic shuffle is a lesser version of the Potomac 2-step. It's a dance move.
It's very close to what the soft shoe in the military.
That's
or
the one.
Tap dancing.
The very kind.
Yes.
Often featured in the Dog and Pony show.
Yes.
Which is a big favorite of ours.
Here's a funny story about the Dog and Pony.
Oh, here we go. Dog and Pony time.
I was married for like a year.
Yep.
And I had to go away for like 2 weeks. I did my 2 weeks. I come back, and then I was back for 3 days, and then we had to do another 3 days. I don't remember what the circumstances were. And my now ex-wife is like, well, you just got back. Why do you have to go do this? And I'm like, well, it's just a huge Dog and Pony show. And literally, she looks at me, she goes, what the hell is the Army doing with dogs and ponies? I was like, are you fucking serious? You're a redhead. You're not blonde. God damn it. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's beautiful.
That's a true story. Hand to God.
So she was a new Army wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, who didn't ask you about your 4187 for the ETS just in case maybe, things got foobar while you were doing the cot?
Yeah. Now that's the
Advanced wifery.
third wife of a military guy, knows all the lingo
Yeah.
because they want half your pension.
Right. Yes. But they do still speak the acronyms fluently.
Yes, they do.
That's good stuff. From political leaders to human rights activists to former Russian spies, assassinations have changed the world. Beloved politicians, I don't know about all that, like Mahatma Gandhi, John F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King were all assassinated. Most recently, President Donald Trump ordered a U.S. drone strike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. Oh, this is an older article, so it seems. Yeah. This is from 2020. I didn't notice that. My bad.
No, it's all good. I mean, because it's all history.
Yes, that's true.
Now, I'm not familiar with how Gandhi got whacked, but I know JFK got one a little off the top.
His wife, I believe, got whacked as well.
Yeah. And Martin Luther King got his gut sac ventilated.
So assassinations have been illegal under U.S. federal law since 1981, though the definition is vague. Bullshit.
Yeah.
I can't obviously go into detail. However, we pretty much, you've seen some of the assassinations on the news. Assassinations is illegal except for this drone strike over here. More recently, President Donald Trump ordered the assassination of an Iranian general using a drone strike. The administration is officially calling it a targeted killing. There you go. They just changed the language.
Targeted killing.
Yes, targeted killing.
All right. Now, let me get this straight here.
Okay.
Now, in the Q course, when we went to the field, there was a couple of scenarios that involved, an assassination kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's being taught, at least when I was in, it was maybe 2 days of the entire time in the field.
Was it discussed?
Yes.
In a professional fashion?
Correct.
There we go.
Like, the leader's going to be in this area.
Right. Yes.
Go do your thing. Write the op order.
Yes.
And you coordinate with the local guerrillas. To make things happen.
Targeted haircut of key official.
Correct.
Sort of language.
And
I have heard similar.
And I'm probably going to do a zombie apocalypse on this.
Yeah.
Because 1, I'm an evil genius. I can't shut it off. And 2, it's not that difficult to do. I'm sorry.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
It's
not. Especially
definitely not hard to discuss.
Like if you are the lone wolf and you don't give a shit if you keep breathing, you can make anything happen.
Yeah.
I myself am not that crazy. I'm just a shit talker now. But
pretty much. I was always the dating guy. I arranged the dates.
I understand.
So Rome's Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC, which is 6 years after his campaigns in Gaul. If you ever want to read a serious military adventure novel, read Julius Caesar's commentaries on the Gallic War.
Dude, that dude is genius.
I don't know why it's not a movie. There are sieges that he shouldn't have been able to do. One enemy really pisses him off. I believe it was the Germans. They came and attacked him across the Rhine, and then started to try to flee back to the Rhine. He and his men ran them down over 30 miles and killed all of them. They ran 30 miles.
Well, I still like the double wall thing.
The double wall around Vercingetorix.
Yes.
That was the siege of Gaul, and that was 53 AD, I want to say.
Oh, it was after the fact?
53, 52 AD, or BC, rather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But still, that was
Caesar
genius,
was BC.
Genius move.
Was a genius move.
You got to understand, though. All right, you're attacking an army. You surround them with a wall. They have,
and you're in their territory.
Yeah, you don't have home field advantage, and the reinforcements are on the way, and you put up another wall to keep them away.
Yes.
Now, I'm just going to be honest. If I was one of those Roman Legion guys, I would be shitting Tiffany cufflinks because you probably came pretty close to getting wiped the fuck out.
Not really. You need to read the whole commentary because
Which
he had a plan.
he had a plan.
He had a plan. Anyway, Julius Caesar's notes on the Gallic War from 58 to 50 BC are mind-blowing. Just a great read. He ended up becoming Julius Caesar, the emperor of Rome, and was then assassinated in 44 BC. About 60 senators stabbed Rome's leader 23 times. That seems like a strange set of numbers to me.
Yes.
According to the Telegraph.
Well, to be honest with you, whenever you have like a mob attacking you, you have the people calling for the violence, you have the people committing the violence, and you have the people who are standing by allowing it to happen.
And then you've got some looky-loos.
I think a lot of those guys were standing there doing nothing or just wanted to watch.
Wanted to be there when it happened.
Yeah.
I would agree with that assessment. His death came a month after he was instilled as a dictator. Okay, I don't know who's writing this garbage, but his death came a month after he was voted in as dictator. That was actually a thing in the Roman Empire.
Yep.
They would, if things got a little economically weird, would vote a guy in as dictator that they thought was competent to do so. And he would then give a series of orders, and then he would step down. Dictators would step down in the Roman Empire. It wasn't a permanent position. The Senate was where the power would go to his head, that he would claim to be a king and no longer heed the Senate. There, they say it right there. He wasn't a king. He was the dictator for the moment.
Uh-huh.
And you need to read all of the literature around that to truly understand it. This really grossly misrepresents the situation.
It's 2 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is where we get the phrase the Ides of March.
Yes.
Beware the Ides of March. He was killed on March 15th, I believe it was.
Yeah, somewhere. I don't remember the actual.
Anyway, Caesar's death ended up leading to civil wars, the end of Rome's time as a republic, and the beginning of its time as an empire. I would call that a big fat no, because Julius Caesar led the Roman Empire to victory throughout Gaul and Germania and into Britannia, where he held most of England for quite a while, but was never able to get to Ireland. The Irish would...
The Picts. They called them the Picts.
Fuck off now.
Just saying.
Fuck off now. So, anyway... One side of my family is Irish Gypsy. No shit. My dad's side of the family is Irish.
So you're half Pict?
I am half Pikey.
Oh, Pikey. Okay.
I'm a quarter Pikey, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know if Grandma was Gypsy or not. Anyway, the Irish would kidnap Roman soldiers, take their heads, coat them in lime, and make actual head statues. And use those in catapults and throw them back at the Romans, which terrified the Romans.
Oh, it would terrify anyone.
Sure. And there was never an actual Roman occupation of Ireland. That never happened because the Romans were like, we're just going to leave those assholes alone.
That's why they put up the wall.
Yes, that was also made of Roman bodies. Oh, the wall was for the Scots, was for the Highlanders.
Oh, okay. Get mixed up here. Yeah, you're right.
That was the
Irish are on the island.
Hadrian's Wall, yes.
I never went up into Scotland. I've been over to Ireland.
The Irish built a wall of Roman bodies as well.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here.
We are moving on. His death led to civil wars. The end of Rome's time as a republic. That is false. I don't know who wrote this article. I didn't catch that part, and I should have.
That's just an ugly motherfucker. President
Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865. Everybody seems to know that Lincoln was assassinated, and by whom. Some in the South celebrated his death. Lincoln's vice president, Andrew Johnson, replaced him and struggled to reunite the country after the war. This is a poorly written article.
Well, here's the thing about the Lincoln assassination. Yeah. There was a whole plot to take out the entire cabinet. And I believe 2 or 3 of them or half of them pussied out and didn't do it. And the other half failed or made half-hearted attempt. And only Booth was the one that actually hit the bullseye.
I have heard rumblings of this. I do not know all of the details. The Picts were also in Ireland and Scotland. It was the Woads. Sorry, I saw that and had to answer that real quick. During Reconstruction, Johnson was lenient to the southern states, which led to restrictive black codes that ended up decimating the freedoms of freed slaves. I enjoyed reading that because I know there are Southerners in our chat who are going to go apoplectic.
Yes.
I know that's a false statement, but there you go. I wanted to throw that out there. President William McKinley was assassinated in 1901.
Now, from
So
what
this
I've
is
read on this guy, McKinley, he was a raging, puckered asshole.
a raging, puckered asshole. Can you elaborate at all?
Now, I don't really know the details other than the fact that he was not well liked. A lot of his policies that escaped me at the time were not really going to be accepted, and things happened.
Well, write McKinley down. I want to and send me a note on that. I want to look into McKinley. A 28-year-old anarchist named Leon Trotsky shot McKinley during a fair in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, a lone gunman?
This is interesting. I am going to
search him.
I am going to search up this Leon Trotsky fellow. Continue.
Yeah.
Interesting. Place of birth. Born in Detroit.
Nice.
Date of death, October 29th, 1901. Apparently okay. Cause of death, electric chair.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, see more on Wikipedia. Yes, please. I want to know a little more about this guy. Here, he's born in Detroit, Polish family.
Are you sharing this screen?
Oh, I am probably not sharing this tab. Instead, I now am. Natrina worked in glass factory. This is the guy who moved to Alpena in 1880.
Okay. Well, there was a lot of Poles who moved into Michigan back then. That's why we have Pole Town.
This is important because this is the exact time period. See here in 1898, after witnessing strikes, Solgas went to live with his father, bought a 50-acre. Right there it is. He was impressed after hearing a speech by the anarchist Emma Goldman. This is the exact time period that Zionism in Theodor Herzl appears.
But what I'm trying to get at here,
history repeats itself.
It repeats itself right there,
and history also rhymes.
Yes.
So there you go. McKinley was assassinated by a 28-year-old anarchist who happened to be hanging out with Zionists. Fascinating. While he may not be well known as many on this list, his death led to the modern version of the Secret Service. There's where your Secret Service comes from, which ensures the president is adequately protected. Lunch lady and the wine ant.
Get the hell out of here with that bullshit.
That's fantastic. Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated in 1914. I happen to know that the assassin was also related to the whole Theodor Herzl club. Serbian student Gavrilo Princip shot the Archduke as he drove through Sarajevo, Boston.
Lone gunman.
Bosnia. Again, the lone gunman. Strange.
And this one here kicked off World War One.
Yes.
So how many people got smoked in World War One?
We lost 325,000 young American men in a war that had nothing to do with us, which was brought on when Rothschild traded his influence with Supreme Court Justice Martin Brandeis in exchange for the British Crown's Foreign Office giving Rothschild and his people the rights to the Protectorate of Palestine, which at the time belonged to the British government. And that's in the Balfour Declaration, which also clearly states that the Rothschild group moving to Palestine was to treat the Palestinians who were there already with respect and preserve their culture.
Then later it became Israel.
Yes. That all started in 1917. Europe was losing the war against Germany. And Europe at that time, I mean England and France. They were losing, and they needed American intervention, and the British Crown was turned down by the United States several times until the Balfour Declaration was agreed upon.
And again, we have the Rothschilds, and then you
yep.
have the Soroses and some other individuals, familiar names that always pop up around turmoil in
I didn't know about
history.
the McKinley one. I didn't know about the ties to McKinley. The Ferdinand one I did know. international allegiances pulled other countries into the conflict, which led to World War I and the death or injury of more than 30 million soldiers. As the New York Times wrote in 1915, what face the world will wear when this is over, no man can predict, but it will be greatly changed and not geographically alone. How right they were. Now we're on to Russian Tsar Nicholas III, who was assassinated in 1918.
Hang on a minute now. Technically, he was executed. Him and his entire family. We're splitting hairs here, I know, but it is what it is.
By the Bolshevik Revolution led by Trotsky, whose real name was Lev Bronstein, who got his money from bankers in New York.
Yeah, again, the Rothschilds.
That's 3 for 3 in the beginning of the 20th century.
Yes. I mean, when they say bankers, yeah, you know who that is.
You know what we're talking about. The Tsar, his wife, and their 5 children were shot to death in a basement by Bolsheviks, a revolutionary socialist Jewish group, who had been holding them hostage for months. It was brutal and poorly performed execution, in part because the children had diamonds sewn into their clothes to keep them hidden, but the gems acted like bulletproof vests, prolonging the execution. Wow, that's brutal, you animals.
Yeah, actually, I watched a couple shows on this throughout the years.
That's horrific.
One of them was done by In Search Of, and they actually dug up the bones and pieced it all back. It was fucking incredibly horrific. And here's the worst part, is the people that did the actual shooting knew the family intimately. That is...
They were part of the house retinue?
Well, they
must have been.
They lived together for a long time.
Yeah. They must have been part of the house retinue.
Yeah, and...
At that time, noble families had retinues. You had like this group of people who lived around you.
Yeah.
The most famous, of course, is Louis XIV, the Sun King. That's a fascinating story. Those people were freaks, but it's a good read.
Yeah.
Minor segue. I'm 17 years old. The year is 1987. I'm a busboy at a hotel in Detroit. That's a 4-star hotel. And this older lady would come in, and she was elegant and well-dressed and clearly had lots and lots of money. And the maitre d' Louis would grab us busboys. There was like 3 of us on the floor when she came in. That's Anastasia. You treat her like a queen. She's the last of the Roman. And we're like, oh, we had no idea. He's totally fucking with us.
Yeah.
But he and Rudy, the head waiter from Banquets, who was like a jillion years old, it was their big joke to tell us that was Anastasia, the last of the Romanovs.
Yep.
And she got treated like a queen. Straight up. She got really good service. We didn't know any better. That's fine. Mexican General Emilio Zapata was assassinated in 1919. His people were called the Zapatistas.
Yes. And actually, he was...
Also some good military history.
Who was the guy that would raid across the United States border back then?
Pancho Villa.
Yeah, he was linked to Pancho Villa.
Yes, he was linked to Pancho Villa.
Basically, he allowed it.
I believe that was the case. General Emiliano Zapata was assassinated during the Mexican Revolution on the orders of then Mexican President Venustiano Carranza. If I'm butchering that name, I apologize. I'm working on my Mexican, actually.
Yep.
Zapata had fought for poor farmers throughout his entire life. After his death, he became a symbol for Mexican peasants and the working class. History.com reported that his land reforms are still important to many Mexicans today. This is, like I said, where you get the Zapatistas from.
Yeah.
That's this incident right here. Again, very interesting piece of history. The whole Pancho Villa raids. His name was, when we were little, everybody knew the name Pancho Villa.
Well, that's where General Patton cut his teeth.
Was fighting
Pancho Villa.
See?
Yeah, and that's why he
carried
the revolver
and
all that shit.
We should do a general's show.
Ooh, let's write that down.
I wouldn't mind doing a general's show.
And we could say how fucking crazy they are.
Yeah, how it started out. Another weird rabbit hole. I was eating breakfast at the Dragon Hill, which is a restaurant in Korea. And there's this older guy sitting there eating waffles and bacon and having a cup of coffee. I looked at him and I walked over to him, and in Korean I said, "Excuse me, sir, aren't you General Peck?" I said, "Why, yes, I am." It's MacArthur's counterpart from the Korean War would eat breakfast at this damn restaurant.
Wow.
And I ended up talking to him for a minute. He's like, come by my office for coffee. All of his friends were dead. He was like 93 at the time.
Yeah.
The guy just died like 2 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, he lived a lot. But I would go over and have coffee with him and just talk about the war. And I had coffee with General Peck, MacArthur's counterpart, probably 4 or 5 times, which was absolutely fascinating stuff.
Let me make a...
He was politically assassinated. He wasn't actually killed.
No.
But they shelved him because he didn't fit the narrative. Make a statement.
All right. I'm going to make this statement here. All right. As you guys know, we've been radically demonetized by YouTube by insane levels. And doing this show is not cheap. So any money you guys send us to keep it rolling is much appreciated. And thank you. All right. Let's continue on.
Yeah, we do appreciate your support, really and truly.
Here's Mahatma Gandhi.
This Mahatma Gandhi is. I was talking about the show.
I know.
We can talk about Mahatma Gandhi though,
That's
who would sleep next to little children to test his willpower.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a fact that came up one day, and I'm like, wait, what? I looked it up, and yeah, it's true.
God damn, that's nasty.
Yeah, it is. He didn't molest them. He just slept next to small children to test his willpower. I'm like, why do you need to test that willpower?
Yeah, you should not have to.
It shouldn't be assassinated in 1948. Mahatma Gandhi, the ultimate peacenik who successfully helped India gain political independence from Britain in 1947. How did that work out for you? Was killed by a Hindu extremist on the way to evening prayers. He led many famous peaceful protests, including a 241-mile march, that's impressive, to the Indian coast to harvest salt, which in turn led to 60,000 peaceful protesters being imprisoned for what?
I don't know.
After his death, he became a symbol of what mass protests can achieve and an icon to later figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and former President Barack Obama. That right there makes me suspicious.
On a side note, he was not overly peaceful.
No, he was not.
He was not.
That is a myth.
Yeah, that's just built. They're building in this here to boost his legend. But he was kind of like me, unforgiving, low grade anger. He had no problem if he needed to have people do violence or do violence himself.
I've never heard of him doing violence himself. I can believe him farming it out, though.
Yes. I'm just saying.
I can believe that part. This is a lesser-known one, but that's the point of this show, is lesser-known history of assassinations. Congolese President Patrice Lumumba was assassinated in 1961. Congo, for the record, is one I've known a couple of guys that went there, group guys.
Remember the movie Dogs of War?
Yeah. Dude, Congo is bad news to this day.
Yeah. No.
It's a very dangerous place. It's a short, brutal life. A police unit under orders from a Belgian officer, assassinated Lumumba after a military coup overthrew his government. Little brief history of Congo during the time when all of the European empires were rushing into Africa to take chunks of land. Algeria was the French, Rhodesia was the English, and the Belgians had Congo.
Germany was there too.
Germany had some too. I can't remember where they were.
And they were incredibly fucking brutal.
No. That's the Belgians. That's this.
Okay.
That's the Belgians. The Belgians were the incredibly brutal ones. It's legendary. Lumumba's assassination happened 7 months after Congo gained independence. According to NBC News, his killing led to widening chasm in U.S. and African relations. There was really no civilization there at the time and hadn't been for some 3,000 or 4,000 years.
After this happened, this is the seed that they wrote the script for the Dogs of War.
Yeah, yes, that's true. Later, somebody said that Christians in Action had been involved.
Wouldn't surprise me.
This is my shocked face.
Yeah.
Oh my, look, Christians in Action was involved in assassinations in Africa. How surprise. Much astound.
Yeah, get the hell out of here with that.
Today, Lumumba is an icon for many African nationalists and a reminder of Western treachery, according to the Irish Times. I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that we interfered over there today, and we still interfere over there today.
All right, hang on.
In levels that we have no business doing.
We've interfered in all over South America.
Oh, yes.
Africa.
Yep.
That's not even up for debate.
Yep.
Let's see. we've gerrymandered and influenced a lot of the European countries throughout the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not pretty.
And we're still probably we're gonna keep doing it because
Not
we're
pretty.
raging
I
assholes.
hope not.
I hope not either. But
I hope not.
unless we can get a reform and deal with the top 3 tiers in the Christian in Action Network.
I have a strange feeling that we're going to be looking at more than 1 or 2 haircuts in the near future.
Yes.
I have a feeling we've got some haircuts in our future.
Yes.
It has been too long and things are getting too volatile.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely
I
correct.
don't want that to happen, but I have a feeling because all of the conditions are ripe for it. South Vietnam rented lips. South Vietnam president Ngo Dinh Diem was assassinated in 1963. I can't pronounce Mexican, but I can pronounce Vietnamese.
And if I recall, that was still under French control, and we started fighting in 65 with sending over advisors.
Ho Chi Minh had already taken North Vietnam. That started in 1951.
Uh-huh.
We had advisors there at that time. The French still lived in a lot of the areas in Vietnam, and then Ngo Dinh Diem was assassinated in 1963, which has pushed our advisors further into the war.
Yep.
Diem was assassinated along with his brother in the back of an armored car after the U.S. overthrew his government.
There you go. Shocker.
Christians in action to aisle 6, please. Clean up on aisle 6.
Former President John F. Kennedy, who had previously supported his rule in the 50s, approved the coup. So we just that's a coup. I mean, fuck it.
Well, he basically orchestrated the haircut for those guys in Nam.
Yeah.
And the Christians in Action organized his haircut a year to 2 years later.
Now, I no longer have the book, but at one point I had a book that I don't even know how I got a hold of, but it was of declassified CIA files.
Uh-huh.
And in one portion of that book, it tells the story of a man who went to the conference in France after the end of World War II that I can't remember the name of now, but the name of the conference is irrelevant. And this man kept a picture of George Washington on his wall, admired the Constitution, and went to talk to the Americans, asking them for help moving the French out of his country.
And we blew him off.
They wanted independence. We blew him off. That man instead went to Russia, who went, yes, of course we will. Let me finish my vodka. We do this thing. And that man was Ho Chi Minh.
Yep.
That was in 1948
Yep.
at a conference in Paris. We had the opportunity to not Vietnam War, and we blew it off because the French were our allies in World War II.
The surrender monkeys, of course.
The surrender monkeys.
Yeah.
As Newsweek's Jeff Stein wrote, the coup and Diem's assassination led to a nightmare that ended up killing 58,000 Americans needlessly and 1.5 million Vietnamese. Ripped the U.S. apart. It didn't rip the U.S. apart. Some of the coastal cities acted like asshats, but for the most part, it did not rip the U.S. apart.
If that were to happen today, it would.
I believe that. And spawned a deep-rooted cynicism about the American political establishment that persists today.
Christians in action, clean up on aisle 6.
And next in line is the famous haircut. We've all seen it, but you get a strike for it now if you put it on YouTube.
What's interesting is that Diem was assassinated in 1961 on Kennedy's orders, pretty much.
Yeah.
63.
Yeah.
Assassinated in 63. And then shortly thereafter, Kennedy gets picked off. I mean,
Christians in action, clean up on aisle 6.
2 for 1. 2 for 1.
2 for 1 blue light special.
there are those of us in the community who get the blue light joke.
Yeah,
If you get the blue light joke, you get the blue light joke.
If you live long enough to actually have to endure Kmart, you understand exactly what that is.
No, the other blue light.
Oh.
Do you know that did you ever encounter the other blue light?
No.
Oh, there's a blue light.
It's up the people before Delta?
It was you guys.
Yeah.
There was they were parallel to Delta. They were still around when I was in.
I believe blue light is was converted over to CAG?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But we ran into some blue light.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, we should probably stop talking now.
yeah. We're going way off.
The blue light special had a different meaning back in the day. Kennedy, one of the country's most charismatic leaders, was shot twice by Lee Harvey Oswald and then promptly killed by Jack Ruby, whose real name was Jack Rubenstein, a club owner from Chicago who worked for the Purple Gang in Detroit, which was owned by Meyer Lansky, who ran Murder Incorporated out of New York. Again, we're into the bankers.
This is not a conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy.
You can find all this in the historical documents.
Yes, it is well documented. Jack Ruby's real name was Rubenstein,
Chicago
club owner.
So we're now 4?
That's four of U.S. presidents getting the old haircut.
Yeah, and majorly screwing with history.
Yes. The nation's consuming grief over Kennedy's death allowed his successor, Lyndon B. Johnson, famous for saying,
I'll have those grows voting for me for the next 100 years.
Yep.
He actually said that. To successfully pass 2 anti-segregation laws, the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Act. Black American leader Malcolm X was assassinated in 1965. He had some views on the individuals who were in the banking industry as well.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm X, sometimes controversial religious and civil rights leader, was shot by members from the Nation of Islam. I don't know a lot about this assassination, and I should probably know a little more. I feel like there's a piece of real pivotal history in here.
The Nation of Islam has been implicated in all kinds of
Oh, yeah, they're here in Detroit.
ass-baggery.
They're still here in Detroit.
Yeah, a whole bunch of ass-baggery and stupidity.
Yeah. I mean, that happens when you get a radical fringe group. The Nation of Islam was a religious group he used to be a minister for before he broke away to start his own group called the Organization of Afro-American Unity. I hadn't heard that.
And one of the main reasons is the Nation of Islam whacked him is because he was actually removing people from under that umbrella and moving them under his umbrella. Thus, you're hurting the purse strings. You're making them look bad. Desperation comes in, and someone gets a haircut.
They gave him the haircut, but he ended up Obi-Waning their Kenobi.
Yes.
Because many expected his impact to wane after his death, but the opposite happened. If you strike me down, I shall only return more powerful. He Obi-Wan their Kenobi.
What is that word when somebody a martyr?
He became an icon for racist persecution.
Yep.
His rise he was assassinated by his own people, racist persecution. Get out of here.
Yeah.
His rise was in part due to the publication of his autobiography a few months after his death. It was named one of Time's most important nonfiction books of the 20th century.
And we got the other one.
Civil rights activist Lex Luthor there, King Jr. was assassinated in 1968. There was a lot of house cleaning going on in the 60s, it seems to me.
Again, he was stirring up the entire nation. And then you had the Triple K Club down south, who was, let's just go through history here. The Triple K Club was set up by the Democrats. What are the name of those laws again? The very
Jim Crow laws?
Jim Crow laws set up by the Democrats. And if you look at the history rolls of our government, we had our first African American senator in like 1898-ish.
No, sooner.
It was sooner?
1878.
1878. And they didn't have a Democratic senator until...
They were all Republicans.
Yeah. Till what, 1971?
Something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
And somehow in that time frame, they totally flipped the script and blamed the KKK and the Jim Crow laws on the Republicans. And
that happened during the Clinton campaign when Sam Donaldson switched the red and blue colors.
Correct.
Because we used to say better dead than red was a thing that we used to say. Then in 1992, in a broadcast discussing the election, Sam Donaldson flipped the script on camera and it stuck.
And our current dictator-in-chief attended the funeral of a Triple K Club Grand Dragon.
I mean, what are you going to do, though?
What are you?
Here's the thing, though. Here's the other piece of the puzzle that not everybody knows. Go back and look at Martin Luther King, and there was a guy who was his 30-pound brain who helped him arrange all of these things and helped him get all of these meetings and stuff. And as it turns out, that individual was related to the bankers.
Yes. Again, we have people running banks who shake the jar. They're jar shakers.
They're jar shakers.
That we have to remember, I think it was in, 94 and 96, during the whole court system looking into all that, FBI pretty much just came out and said, yeah, we're responsible for it.
Yep.
For Martin Luther King?
For Martin Luther King, yep.
Yeah. And then recently, the CIA came out and admitted that they had issued a haircut to Mr. John F. K.
Yep.
After his death, King remains an icon of hope for racial unity. Peniel E. Joseph wrote for the Washington Post that King's death was a blow to America, recognizing and dealing with his inherent power in structures which had oppressed African. Shut up. I don't even want to read that because it's a load of crap.
Let's go through this a little quicker.
We are
a lot to go.
A little quicker.
Yeah. Another Kennedy,
1968. And he was assassinated by Sirhan Sirhan, who's a Jordanian refugee.
Another lone gunman.
Another Kennedy, who was killed. Sirhan Sirhan was then killed.
Yes.
Interesting. Jack Ruby, by the way, died under mysterious circumstances in prison.
Well, they said it was cancer.
Of course it was.
Yes.
First see Lord Louis Mountbatten, Earl Mountbatten. The Irish Republican Army assassinated Lord Mountbatten. Well, we know why that happened.
Yeah.
They do that. A military strategist and mentor to Prince Charles by planting and remotely detonating a bomb in his fishing boat. Blast killed 3 others as well. That's the IRA of that time for you, though.
Oh, listen.
Boy, did they love their bombs.
Listen, the IRA, you didn't fuck around with those guys.
Yeah.
No. I got no beef with the IRA.
There were groups of them, too.
Yes.
The primary chapters of the IRA became Marxists in the early 1960s. The real IRA dates back to the time, I think it's Michael Collins in 1922.
Yeah.
Was the Irish Republican Army, is their origins. The assassination was meant to show that even the pinnacle of British society was not safe from the IRA, and they succeeded, as the army attempted to end British rule of Northern Ireland. According to History.com, the attack, along with another that day that killed 18 soldiers, led to Margaret Thatcher's government taking a hardline stance against the group. She was known as the Iron Lady for a reason. She did not play.
No. She was a savage.
This one I know really well. I could do a whole show just on this. South Korean President Park Chung-hee was assassinated in 1979 by his chief of what was essentially the Korean CIA, who had been trained by
Christians in action, clean up on aisle 6. Christians in action, clean up on aisle 6.
God damn.
Seriously, I could do a whole show just on this guy.
Wow.
President Park Chung-hee was shot at a restaurant by his friend Kim Jae-kyu, the chief of the Korean Central Intelligence Agency.
Wow.
Clean up on aisle 6.
Since Park took over the country after a military coup in 1961 and completely restored the country, which had been in the grips of the post-Korean War period, he ruled with an iron fist, but brought his country into the real world and completely civilized it. Park Chung-hee did huge things for Korea. Many South Koreans missed Pak, but because he led the country as it built up its own economy and managed to break away from the United States.
Yep.
He was breaking away from the United States.
I wonder what prompted that assassination.
It's the bankers. It's the money.
Could be. Since his death, that success is often focused on rather than his military.
Now, I was actually in 1987 when I was working with the MFO, Multinational Force Observers. I went down there for a 7-month NATO kind of thing.
Bright Star.
And he had been assassinated 5-6 years prior, and we went to his basically where his tomb was.
Yeah.
And there was a line of people walking by there. This is 5 years later.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a half mile long.
Yeah. Anwar Sadat, president of Egypt, assassinated in 1981.
And you can actually you can catch this. It's on video.
Yes.
I've seen it twice.
Yes. I remember seeing it when I was like 11 years old when it happened. And they showed it on TV.
Yep.
It was one of the first times they actually showed the assassination of a guy.
And one of the main reasons he got whacked is because he wanted to have peace with Israel.
Oh. Gosh, are we up to 7 now? Or is
I
that
think
8?
we're up to 7. We don't have to read the whole thing. We got to get through this.
Yes. Assassins pretending to be soldiers shot Sadat as he watched the Victory Day celebrations.
Yep.
This is because some of his decisions during his tenure, his leadership changed Egypt. He pulled away from Russia and moved closer to the U.S. He also started a war with Israel, then ended it several years later. Al Zamor, one of the men who supplied ammunition to the assassins, told NBC News we didn't regret the death. His successor, President Hosni Mubarak, was worse. I think that guy's still there, isn't he?
I don't know. I think so.
According to him, Sadat was thousands of times better. Indira Gandhi, wife of Mahatma Gandhi, that's not really surprising. She was a cast iron bitch by all accounts. Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, the son of Gandhi, was assassinated.
And they whacked him, his wife, his kid.
Yeah.
God damn.
These people were not as liked as history would have you believe. The Gandhis were some pretty nasty people on the lines of Nelson and Winnie Mandela. If you think Nelson and Winnie Mandela are cultural heroes, you need to do some reading. Talk about some people in need of whacking. His death had a lasting repercussion for India, leaving a political void. Oh, so sad. Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated in 1995. I remember that. That was a big deal. They stood all of us too.
Yeah, it was going to get bad.
Yeah, I had just gotten in.
Yeah.
Right-wing Jewish law student shot Rabin as he left a peace rally. Rabin had been trying to establish peace in Israel and between Israel and Palestine.
I remember 95. I was with 12th Group Special Forces when this happened. We got all mobilized and called in.
I was at the schoolhouse. We were at DLI when this happened, and they called us all in and said the Prime Minister of Israel's been whacked.
No.
So
Stand
be
by.
ready. Anything can happen.
Yeah, stand by to stand by. It's pretty
Stand
much,
by to stand by.
That's exactly what we got.
Yep.
We're like, okay, open the arms room.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Let's make sure all our shit's together. We were just students at the schoolhouse at the time, so they pretty much just let us go back to class. But we got the scary brief.
Yeah.
And because we were students, we're all like, what do we do? We're supposed to do something?
Well, we got called in, and we actually did a full inventory, including subcomponents.
Like getting ready to load out?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we palletized a bunch of shit.
Yep.
Nothing came of it, but it was a good training, It wouldn't be the first time I actually prepared to go to war.
Yeah, this was over peace with Palestine. The big component of Israel, the Zionists, who are part of the MyPol, which comes out of Russia, who are actually Ashkenazis, don't want anything to do with peace with Palestine, which is why we're seeing what we're seeing now. And that's what got Rabin assassinated. He actually was going to try to honor the Balfour Agreement.
Yep.
And they weren't having it. The bankers are at it again.
And who runs the banks?
Yeah.
Small hats?
I don't know. I heard that might be
I've heard
so.
that too. It's a rumor. I don't know.
Since then, there has been no peace deal. As Dan Efron wrote for Politico, thus in killing the Israeli leader, Amir did better than the assassinations of Lincoln, Kennedy, and King, whose policies gained momentum as a result of their murders rather than the other way around.
And this is the guy who got the
2006, he got the poison
pellet
zap in the back of the leg.
Yeah. Listen, that is so fucked up. I mean, all right, the poison they used on him was microscopic amount of, I don't even remember what it is.
No, that was the guy in Britain. Litvinenko was the one killed with a poison tea laced with polonium.
Yes, the radiation stuff.
So
a horrible way to die, by the way.
You've been to? Did you know to look around in Washington D.C.? I should say, did you know what to look for in Washington D.C.?
No.
These spies are all over the place in there. And there are schools there as well. There's also the Christian Action School, the Phoebe School. If you look at mailboxes, lampposts, park benches, and
dead drops,
they're dead. You'll see little chalk marks here and there.
Yeah, dead drops.
Or a little piece of tape.
Yeah, we covered that when I went through, certain education.
Education? Yeah. That's why I know what I'm...
Tradecraft or spycraft.
Yes, tradecraft.
Tradecraft.
We call it tradecraft course.
Well, it's really spycraft, but that's too spy is a very
You
negative
can't say
connotation
that
word.
word. Spy's not a nice term.
So it's
We
trade
don't
craft.
like to think of it as spying. We like to think of it as active observation.
And the really weird part is when we did the training on how to like tell if you're getting tailed or followed
Yeah.
and shit like that, which
Yeah.
is very common.
One of my favorite things now is to watch Hollywood movies where one car will tail another car for miles.
The whole time. Yeah. Get the hell out of here.
You need like 5 or 6 cars.
Yes.
And radios and coordination to properly tail a vehicle. You're not
It-
you're not tailing anybody in one car. Don't try it. Don't try it. You get made.
Correct.
That's not a thing. Anyway, he's not important enough for this to read the whole thing here. Prime Minister Pakistan Benazir Bhutto was assassinated in 2007. I'm just going to say this outright. It is very likely she was assassinated because she was a woman in a male-dominated culture.
Yeah. So
they don't like that.
I don't think I don't think the Christians in Action had anything to do with this one.
Yeah, they still could though. Right after her death, protests went through cities and mobs set trains on fire. Years after her death, she's still a symbol in the country with her face and message used in ads.
All right, now this one bothers me. This motherfucker was not assassinated.
Okay, why is this listed as an assassination?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
No.
Curious. Let's see what they say.
All right.
Bin Laden, who was responsible for the September 11th terrorist attack,
Not quite, but we'll go with that.
was shot by U.S. Special Forces on the orders of former President Barack Obama. I don't recall him giving a kill order. This was one of the U.S.'s more successful assassinations. We lost a whole blacked out top secret helicopter in a compound in Pakistan.
Yeah.
How is this successful? This
And mysteriously, shortly after, a whole bunch of individuals that were in SEAL Team 6
their
died in a
Chinook,
helicopter
which
crash.
they should not have been flying in a straight line over the desert at 800 feet.
Things happen.
Like, at the state fair where you've got the pellet gun and the ducks. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Very familiar.
Bing.
There you go.
God. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi was assassinated in 2019.
No, he wasn't.
Don't know why.
He was
they're
an
including
enemy
this.
combatant.
He was an enemy.
They dropped a 500-pound bomb on his ass after they tried to whack him at least 4 or 5 times prior.
Yeah. Why are they including?
All right,
these
move to
people
the
in
next
this
one.
list of assassinations. I agree.
Yeah, this is dumb.
I am not going to go through the assassinations. You know what? I am going to do this one because
Caligula?
there is a lot of misunderstanding that surrounds the death of Germanicus, was his real name. He was called Caligula when he was a little boy, and people who didn't like him called him Caligula. Now, here's the thing.
Are you sharing this? I don't think you're sharing this one.
Yep, it's on there.
All
It's
right.
up
Do
there.
a zoom in there on there though, Steve.
What's that?
If you could do a zoom in on that, so we can.
Oh,
read just a
yeah.
little bit better.
Maybe I'll do a little zoom in here.
Enhance.
Enhance. Move 43 left. Why can't I zoom?
I don't know.
Is this a stupid old web page? I can tell this story without you having to be able to read this. The links are in the description. So Germanicus was a mighty foe of a certain group of people who lived in what was Judea at the time. It wouldn't become Syria, Palestina for another 30 years or so. Around 40 AD, Caligula was the emperor, and he had such contempt for this group in Judea that he had statues of himself installed in their temple.
Ooh.
Clearly made them angry.
Clearly.
Now, Rome still controlled much of Egypt at the time, and among the Egyptian cities was, of course, Alexandria. Cairo and Alexandria are Egypt's 2 largest cities to this day. There was a representative from Alexandria named Philo who came to seek an audience with Germanicus, and Germanicus refused him. And eventually Philo finally got an audience in the royal gardens to talk to Germanicus, who continued to ignore him and laugh at him, because what Philo wanted was autonomous rule for his people in the state of Alexandria, or in the city of Alexandria. Philo happened to be of a certain Judean dwelling persuasion.
Okay.
And Germanicus laughed him off and told him to go away. Now, about 5 months later, Germanicus was assassinated by his own Praetorian Guard, and the only written record is, again, by a member of the banker class.
Again.
Now, the stories around him and his wild orgies and his absolute insanity, literally all of them, I haven't been able to find any proof that any of those stories are any worse than any of the other Roman emperors at any particular time. And there's a story that he made his horse a senator, but the actual quote is recorded. There was a guy in the Roman Senate who wanted to be made into a senior senator.
Uh-huh.
And Caligula laughed at him and said, I would better appoint my horse than you.
Nah.
He didn't appoint his horse as a senator. He said, my horse would make a better senator than you, asshole.
It's a whole, when you take it out of context.
It's taken out of context. And because Germanicus was basically the Austrian artist of his day, his name Caligula has been stuck to him. They've made movies about him in Hollywood that are just basically orgy films. And his name has been dragged through the mud, and everything in academia says that he is basically the Austrian artist of his time. So this is one of those assassinations where if you actually go back and read the history, not everything lines up, and we find ourselves with number 9, I think.
Yeah. Bankers.
Yeah. So yeah, Germanicus, that you know as Caligula, there might be some reading to do there because not everything lines up.
Yeah, but that's, 2,000 years ago.
It is indeed 2,000 years ago.
Now here we're going to...
Where are we? I'm about to change the cycle of presidential assassinations attempts. List of those 10 things. Let's go to one of the most famous assassinations that we know of. View tab, StreamYard. Make sure I've got tab. Yes, I have tab.
So when I read this, I was like, God damn.
10 things you may not know about the Lincoln assassination. First of all, he was assassinated. I bet you didn't know that. Booth initially planned to kidnap Lincoln. I had heard this. I don't know any of the details around it, but I recall hearing it. After meeting with Confederate spies, Booth spearheaded a plot to abduct Lincoln, bring him to the Confederate capital of Richmond, and use him as a bargaining chip to secure the release of rebel prisoners. On March 17, 1865, Booth and his fellow conspirators hid along a country road in D.C., intending to commandeer the presidential carriage that was scheduled to carry Lincoln to a matinee performance of a play. Lincoln, however, had a change of plans and never showed. Some of the co-conspirators abandoned the plot thereafter, and Booth had to change plans as well. And we all know where that went.
Well, first of all, it's kind of like the whole Grunt and Witchmer bullshit.
Kind of whole, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Well, they planned to.
Do you think it was a Phoebe plot?
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no Phoebe at the time. The Phoebe wasn't called into being until 1930.
No, I'm talking about Gretchen Whitmer, the thing that just happened with our governor.
Oh, you think she modeled it after this?
Well, the thing is the guys that were going to do this.
Do tell.
They were going to do this plot to.
They were going to
kidnap her.
Yes.
And take her like somewhere else, and then try her in absentia, or try her for treason, and then hang her, or whatever they're going to do. That is asinine.
Yeah, you don't do that kind of thing.
You need to have,
especially in this age.
You need to have like 10,000 dudes to be able to pull some shit off like that.
Especially in this age with the electronics that we have around here.
Yeah.
For a real good discussion of the Whitmer thing, look up Radix Verum. I believe her film is Kidnap and Kill an FBI Terror Plot. It's extremely good.
But if Booth was planning to kidnap Lincoln, he was a fucking moron. Because that's never going to work out.
Nobody credited him with great intelligence, though.
Yeah, I know. But come on. I mean, to think something like that, you got to be like a 65, 70 IQ individual. That's just asinine.
Yeah, okay. I'll buy that.
All right.
He was a thespian, though.
Oh, yeah. Continue on.
Ulysses S. Grant was originally scheduled to be at Lincoln's side. Just days after accepting Lee's surrender, the Union general accepted Lincoln's invitation to attend Our American Cousin, the name of the play, at Ford Theater on the evening of April 14th. General's wife, however, had recently been a victim of Mary Todd Lincoln's acid tongue and wanted no part on a night out of the town with the First Lady. Oh my, I didn't know that, Mary Todd Lincoln. Little bit of a bitch, were we?
Yes. She was a bitch.
Grant backed out, citing the couple's desire to travel to New Jersey to see their children. Lincoln had a surprisingly difficult time finding a replacement. Secretary of War Edwin Stanton, Speaker of the House Schuyler Colfax, and even son Robert Todd Lincoln turned down the tickets before Clara Harris, daughter of New York Senator Ira Harris, and her fiance, Major Henry Rathbone, accepted it. Seems that there was some controversy in the White House surrounding Mary Todd Lincoln. That's very interesting.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
No, God, no.
Hillary Clinton, that, the wife of a president was a royal bitch, ran her mouth,
Dude,
pissed
hey,
everyone
look,
off.
I would rather not get Arkancided.
Yes.
So,
Just saying.
I don't want to get Arkancided. Stop.
Okay.
Lincoln's murder was part of a larger plot to decapitate the government. Here's what you were talking about earlier. Booth and his conspirators plotted not only to kill Lincoln, but Grant, Secretary of State William Seward, and Vice President Andrew Johnson. Grant's unexpected departure removed him as a target. George Atzerodt lost his... Atzerodt?
Yeah,
Atzerodt lost his nerve and failed to follow through on his assignment to slay Johnson at his residence.
He still got the rope.
In the Kirkwood House Hotel. At the same time, Booth shot Lincoln. Lewis Powell stormed Seward's house and repeatedly stabbed the cabinet member who was bedridden after a near-fatal carriage accident. Seward somehow survived the attack because Murphy is like that.
And everyone in this plot, even if they chickened out or not, got the rope.
The lives of the Lincoln's guests at Ford's Theater ended in tragedy as well. After shooting Lincoln, Booth slashed Rathbone's left arm from his elbow to his shoulder, and in that time, there goes your arm, pal.
Yep.
Rathbone recovered from the stab wounds, but not from the trauma of the night. After marrying Harris, who also happened to be his stepsister in 1867, he grew increasingly erratic and perhaps suffered from some post-traumatic stress. Get over yourself.
That was probably from the war.
Yeah. 2 days before Christmas in 1883, he fatally shot and stabbed his wife before stabbing himself repeatedly in a suicide attempt. Once again, however, he survived the knife wounds because life is like that. Rathbone lived out the remaining 3 decades of his life in an asylum for the criminally insane. The fourth member of the presidential box on the night of the assassination, Mary Todd Lincoln, was herself institutionalized in 1875.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Lincoln's death was not universally mourned in the North. Guess what? Lincoln isn't quite the hero everybody thinks he is.
No,
Sorry.
Listen.
He did some things.
He was fucking raging, tyrannical asshole.
He basically ran the 10th Amendment over.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. You're in the middle of a fucking civil war.
Yep.
All right. You're going to have to, if you want to win, you're going to have to get a little medieval.
I mean, it's a war. Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of the people were not willing to, make that concession, and they hated his goddamn guts.
Yes. Yeah, they didn't want war.
Yeah.
As Martha Hodes recounts in her book, Mourning Lincoln, some Northerners who thought Lincoln too dictatorial, and some radical Republicans thought him too lenient toward the Confederacy, welcomed news of his assassination. After a meeting of radical Republicans hours after the shooting, Indiana Congressman George Julian recorded in his diary that the universal feeling among radical men here is that his death is a godsend. I would like to see that quote.
Yes.
I have a hard time believing the word radical was used.
Radical Republicans. But this was written in current year.
That's my point.
Yes.
I want to see the actual written quote. Michigan Senator Zachariah Chandler wrote to his wife that God had permitted Lincoln to live only as long as he was useful and then substituted a better man, Johnson, to finish the work.
Bullshit.
Mary Todd Lincoln thought the vice president was involved in the conspiracy. Hours before shooting, Lincoln Booth had mysteriously called on Johnson at the Kirkwood House and left a handwritten calling card that said, "Don't wish to disturb you. Are you at home? J. Wilkes Booth." The First Lady, as she wrote to a friend, believed that the miserable inebriate Johnson had cognizance of my husband's death. Why was that card of Booth's found in his box? Some acquaintance certainly existed.
That is a good question.
Okay, so I'm going to go assassinate a president, right? I don't really want to be implicated right away, even though he was stupid and was there because he was a thespian and
everyone
probably
knew him.
I would wager that he took the card to that house to help implicate the vice president to further stir the pot.
Could be.
Because there's, that I know of, no other reference to this.
Okay.
That I know of. Lincoln and Booth had a previous encounter at Ford's Theater. On November 9th, 1863, the Lincolns watched a performance of The Marble Heart starring John Wilkes Booth at Ford Theater. Mary Clay, one of the Lincoln's guests, recounted after the assassination that twice Booth, in uttering disagreeable threats in the play, came very near and put his finger close to Mr. Lincoln's face. After Booth gestured menacingly toward the president the third time, Clay said, "Mr. Lincoln, he looks as if he meant that for you." The president replied, "Well, he does look pretty sharp at me, doesn't he?"
Huh.
Interesting.
Listen, if you're going to a play, and it's the same guy doing the performance, you're going to, especially for the president, you're probably going to, meet the guy.
So one of the things that doesn't register in the modern mind is at that time, and for quite some time after until McKinley's death in 1901, presidents didn't have bodyguards.
Yep.
And you could walk across the White House lawn and have a picnic on the White House lawn. There are photographs of it. You could actually walk across the White House lawn.
And during the actual Civil War, a Confederate took a pot shot at him when he was riding on his horse and shot his hat off.
Nice.
I mean, there's no protective detail.
No.
In the middle of a goddamn Civil War.
Yep.
What
I
could
imagine
happen?
he probably had a couple of military officers with him, but that isn't a formal bodyguard.
No.
That's some military officers with him. Lincoln's deathbed quickly became a tourist attraction. Why, that's a bit morbid.
Well, I mean, that happens all the time.
I know. In the hours after Lincoln died, in the back bedroom of William Peterson's boarding house across the street from Ford Theater, souvenir hunters ransacked the property and snatched numerous relics of the martyred president. Deciding to cash in himself, Peterson began to charge admission to hundreds of curiosity seekers who came each day to see Lincoln's bloody deathbed, which incredibly continued to be slept in by a tenant, William Clark, each night. Yeah,
Not a big deal.
People are creepy and weird.
I bought a futon with a dead body chalk outline on it. I mean, not a big deal.
Really? You're a creepy mother. Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Robert Todd Lincoln was in close proximity to two other presidential assassinations. 16 years after being bedside for his father's death, Robert Todd Lincoln was serving as President Garfield's Secretary of War when he witnessed Charles Guiteau fire 2 shots that mortally wounded the chief executive inside a Washington, D.C. train station. On September 6, 1901, Lincoln arrived in Buffalo to attend the Pan American Expo at the invitation of William McKinley, only to learn the president had just been shot. Lincoln visited McKinley's bedside several times before the president ultimately succumbed to his wounds.
Well, if
in this day and age of chicanery, I am suspicious of these events.
Okay.
Call it me.
I don't know.
Another deadly tragedy struck Ford Theater during the funeral of Booth's brother. When John T. Ford attempted to reopen Ford Theater to performances on July 10, 1865, Stanton, who was opposed to it ever being used again as a place of public amusement, dispatched heavily armed soldiers to prevent the show from going on. The federal government eventually purchased Ford Theater for $100,000, gutted the auditorium, and converted the building into War Department offices. Yikes. On June 9th, 1893, at the precise moment when funeral services for Edwin Booth began inside New York's Church of the Transfiguration, 3 floors of the Ford Theater collapsed into the basement and killed 22 federal workers.
I did not know that.
Is that the official federal government first shit sandwich?
I think so. What, you take something, then use it for something it's not designed for, and it fails? Yeah. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
All right, we're at 9:15 here, so we have to.
We are. I'm trying to speed it along. Let's do an interesting one. Ernst von Roth was a well-loved German diplomat in the 1930s. In Paris in 1939, in November, a young man from Poland shot him. When Ernst von Roth went to work on the morning of November 7th, 1938, he had no idea, it was 1938, pardon me, he had no idea he would soon be mortally wounded and his death would serve as the excuse for a 2-day terror attack on German Jews. He was at work at the German embassy in Paris when Herschel Greenspan, a 17-year-old Polish Jew, walked up on him and fired 5 times at close range.
Greenspan, huh?
Days
Sounds
later,
familiar.
well, it says right there that he's a Polish Jew.
Yeah.
Days later, von Roth was dead, and the streets of Germany were littered with shards of broken glass. The young diplomat's death was used as an excuse for Kristallnacht, a 2-day nationwide pogrom against Germany's Jews that is now seen as a harbinger for the Holocaust. But who did the man whose death supposedly instigated the violence, and why did Greenspan kill him? I'm going to hit the pause button here because I did some research into this.
Uh-huh.
Von Roth would not even be a historical footnote if it hadn't been for the political forces that swept through Germany when he was in his early 20s. Hitler was not yet in power, but the party was increasingly attracting Germans looking for relief from the country's financial plight in the aftermath of World War II. They were saddled with huge reparations.
It's World War
I. You are correct.
And again, that was all set up by bankers.
So I bothered to look into the history of this individual, and Greenspan's family had been, in fact, when Hitler took power in 1933, many of the Jews left the country. Greenspan's family left their nice home in Germany to move to Paris. Greenspan killed von Roth because Hitler chased his family out of Germany to Paris, where they were living a similar life. So what we have here is angsty 17-year-old kid thinks he's going to get some.
Lone wolf to the face.
Yeah. I'll be a hero. That's terrible. That's fantastic.
My
name will be remembered.
The first time you did that, I was laughing my ass off. Oh, I'm like, do that again. Oh, my God.
Okay, so here's the deal with the whole Kristallnacht thing. Yes, the Germans did smash Jewish store windows in a couple of cities. It wasn't the entire country. It was a couple of cities. Ernst von Röhm was very popular. He was like the stylish young politician of his time.
Uh-huh.
So they smashed windows. Do you know who it was that stopped Kristallnacht and said, "Stop this. This is enough"?
No.
Goebbels.
Goebbels? Oh, wow.
Goebbels is the one who stopped the violence.
Huh.
He ordered the German military and police to stop the violence. The people were just pissed at the Jews because the Jews just assassinated one, basically like a rock star.
Yeah.
A political rock star. It was like the Trump assassination.
Yeah.
If they had killed Trump, we'd be smashing windows.
It would be bad.
Yeah. And somebody would have to go. But the truth behind the story is that this kid was an angsty 17-year-old who thought he was going to get some and be his lone wolf hero.
All right. But here's the key of the show, all right?
Yeah.
What happened in the past couple days with the stock market across the entire world? Took a huge shit.
Nosedive.
Yeah, took a nosedive.
So good information on that. Go listen to Colonel Steve Murray's situation report on Roundtable.
Oh,
by
yeah,
the way.
yeah. But here's the thing: we have a bunch of bankers. You can, whatever race, religion you want to put on them, I don't care. But they've historically been pulling the strings throughout history to cause all kinds of crazy problems. And it's my opinion, it's based off greed. Now, we're on the precipice of having another Trump presidency, and the bankers are probably not for that because they want the one world order, the one world currency, and they want to depopulate most of the planet, and you will have the serfs and you will have the upper class with no middle class in between, meaning the people at the top will enjoy insane amounts of money and various other benefits that will not filter down to the rest of us. They want everyone to be slaves. This is just my opinion. Maybe I'm wronger than two boys fucking in church with a priest doing CPR on one boy's ass. I don't know.
Ow, that was really graphic, and I need you to, Jimmy, almost suspicion point that shit right there, because that was bad.
How'd you say?
You are fined 1 homo suspicion point for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute.
Oh, wow.
But literally, we are on the verge of having hyperinflation, which is our country destroyers. Okay, we've had one attempt on the former president already.
Yes.
We had a 20-year-old lone wolf get on a roof on top of police who are in the building, and they're in the building next door. They literally could open the window, look out of a conference room, and see the individual on the roof.
Yes, and they did nothing about it.
And they did nothing about it. We had people on the outside. Hey, look at that. There's a guy with a gun. They were calling on the radio. Nobody did anything.
That's not suspicious at all. That happens all the time.
But what I'm trying to get to, my idea for this particular show, is we're looking at historic examples of what took place and what was taking place around those assassinations. A lot of similar shit is happening right now. I mean, we are ripe for some crazy ass shit to go down.
So let's give one more history lesson here with how it ends for the assholes.
Okay, I love it.
Leon Trotsky, otherwise known as Lev Bronstein, a Jew from Ukraine. That's who he was. That's who he was. You say whatever you want. I don't care. Leon Trotsky's real name was Lev Bronstein. He was a Jew from the Ukraine. He was given millions and millions of dollars in 1917 to foment the Red Revolution in the Soviet Union. The leadership of that Soviet Bolshevik that started that whole revolution was 87% Jewish. It was. Go look it up. They write about it themselves. Okay, these are historical facts. I don't care how you feel about who. These are the actual facts of what happened.
We're just here to tell you the truth.
There you go. At any rate, the exiled communist theorist and revolutionary Leon Trotsky was attacked by a Soviet agent in Coyoacan, Mexico on August 20th, 1940, and died of his injuries the following day. Dude, wait till you hear what he killed him with.
All right.
Trotsky, one of the chief architects of the Russian Revolution, had at one time been regarded as the most likely successor to Lenin and as the leader of the USSR. After Lenin's death, however, in 1924, Trotsky was forced from power by his rival Joe Stalin, otherwise known as Uncle Joe, who apparently loved to tell a good joke, but otherwise would straight up kill you.
Oh, yeah, he was a killing fool.
He was a killing fool. Dark humor is like food. Not everybody get it.
I mean, one of the main reasons Russia got its head kicked in for the first 2 years of that war is because that dude wiped out,
purged all of his senior military commanders.
He purged all. Mm-hmm. I mean, what are you thinking?
Yeah. So Trotsky went into exile in 1928, moving from country to country and ultimately settling in Mexico in 1936. He continued to write and to criticize Stalin. Now, mind you, Trotsky was the architect of huge massacres across the entire Soviet Union, responsible for the death of millions of Russians who were starved to death in the first purges. Then Stalin would later instigate his own purges, and there would be even more deaths. The total death toll is somewhere in the range of 120 million, I think.
They don't even know the exact
amount. They don't have real numbers.
I mean, I've seen numbers as high as 650 million. I've seen as low as 100 million.
Yes.
But you got to understand,
nothing lower than 100 million.
In rural Russia, they didn't really keep track of people.
You're just out there.
You're just doing your thing.
That's true. Still true to this day.
Yeah.
In May 1940, Trotsky survived an assassination attempt when men with machine guns fired into his home. 3 months later, he was assassinated by Ramon Mercador, a Spanish communist and suspected agent of Stalin. The Soviet Union denied responsibility for Trotsky's death.
KGB cleanup on aisle 7.
Yeah, that's exactly
KGB cleanup on aisle 7.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I happen to know how Trotsky was killed. Mercador was there and grabbed an ice pick and ice-picked Trotsky to death.
That's hard to... Puncture wounds are incredibly hard to stitch up.
Not like a big industrial ice pick, like the one you chip off ice cubes for your drink. One of the ones that's like this big.
You only have to be able...
died a painful fucking death.
But you only need to stab into the human body 3 to 4 inches.
No, I know that, but that little tiny pointy thing, know he was probably alive for many of the pokey stabby bits.
Yes. It's not good.
And I can't really think of anybody who really deserved a death.
Well, karma's a bitch.
Like the karma is a bitch. This is full circle. We had 8 or 9 people taken out in the vicinity or sphere of the banking establishment, and then the guy who used the banking establishment to start the Russian Revolution was ice-picked to death in Mexico by a Spaniard.
Who definitely was working for the KGB. That doesn't just happen by accident.
No.
Because guess what?
Yeah.
Spain fought a huge civil war,
Yes.
and I believe it was the communists.
Yes, the
they actually-
communists who won.
They won, and then later collapsed, but
Yes.
because communism doesn't work.
Against Franco.
Yeah.
Who was a nationalist.
Yeah. Because
Which is another fascinating topic.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that.
We're not getting into that right now.
No.
We're not getting into that right now. But I love to see that Trotsky ended up getting his own after causing some serious weapons grade misery. The guy was a horrible, evil, nasty little person.
And here's another thing. If you think that shit can't happen here in the United States, you're out of your fucking mind.
It just fucking happened.
No, we have a whole generation that has been brought up to be communists.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes.
All right. And if we take a few wrong steps,
yeah,
we're going to suffer the same fate. And anyone out there is like, oh, Popp doesn't know what he's talking about. Listen, we're all evil, hairless monkeys. We love to kill each other.
Yeah.
Dominate each other.
Yep.
And it's just human nature. They're going to do it again.
Look, I've mentioned many times that I was part of the debriefing program on teams that were interviewing North Korean defectors and things like that. I still have nightmares about things that were told to me sitting at a table in a lit room with a cup of coffee in my hand. Okay? Yep. That kind of horror.
Yeah.
All right. You don't want anything to do with communism, and anybody who's trying to bring any of that stuff anywhere near you deserves a rope and a tree.
Not in that order.
Not necessarily in that order. Can be done in that order.
I got you.
At any rate, I won't even play around with the idea of the Bolshevik type of communism, which is what's coming. That's what the WEF is. But tonight's show, I wanted to put some historical spin on it. Popp came up with the idea for going through the assassinations.
Because there's so many parallels.
There are so many parallels, and there are so many coincidental moments.
Yes.
That go through it all. It's important not to see things in a bubble.
Well, if you...
Things have touching points.
But here's the sad part. We have so many young people out there who are never taught proper history.
No.
They weren't taught civics.
Nope.
They don't know any of this shit. And they think, yeah, communism would be great because everyone gets a piece of the pie, blah, blah. And they don't look backwards and see how much of a raging clusterfuck the whole thing was.
Communism was a handful of ultra wealthy and all the people who starved to death.
Correct.
That's communism. Okay.
And listen, socialism is the same.
Yes. Well, socialism is the gateway to communism.
Yeah,
Marx said that.
It's the waiting lobby.
Yes.
But even capitalism, you get people at the top who think they know everything, i.e. the guy who...
so we have to do a show on this too.
Microsoft.
Capitalism is a word that Karl Marx invented.
Well, we have Mr. Gates.
Yeah.
Right? He's really at the top of the pinnacle, making decisions, spending all kinds of money to influence the masses, and not in a good way.
Yes. And he is completely isolated from it himself. He has no idea what the consequences of his actions are. And he really needs consequences.
So it doesn't matter what government structure you're using. You're always going to wind up with a small bunch of people at the top who fuck everyone's lives up.
Hey, did you plug this computer in?
I did.
Because it's telling me that the battery is low.
All right. Let me go see if I can fix that shit.
So one of the other things was some of the historical inaccuracies that you hear, like the Ernst von Rom killing in Paris. That was a 17-year-old kid who was angry because his parents lost their really nice house in Germany. And Kristallnacht really was just a bunch of people who got really pissed off. It wasn't, let's kill all of the Jews. It's this guy killed somebody we like and we're very angry about.
But the thing is the government at that time saw that there was this animosity towards one small faction and goes, we can use that to our advantage. And that's exactly what they did.
Well, that happened too. But with Caligula, you didn't know about that.
I did not.
Germanicus.
I did not know.
His real name was Germanicus, and he has been slurred as the Austrian artist of Rome, basically.
I gotcha.
Throughout history. Most people don't know that. I found it, and I found like a little thread of it. And I started pulling on the name Philo of Alexandria. And I started reading about Philo of Alexandria. And then I found letters to Judea. And then I found out about the statues in the temple. And then I found out about the government of Alexandria and how Germanicus didn't want that screwed with and why he blew Philo. And I went through it all. And then I found the record of the Praetorian Guard slaying Germanicus.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only written record, and it just so happens to be written by one of the banking class. I was like,
there you
wow. go. Gosh. Golly.
Yeah.
That's
there's
odd.
a reason why they want to have a national digital currency.
Yes.
They're not like, the people are efficient. Everyone will. No. They want to be able to control you.
There's also a reason that we go through the super chats each night.
Yeah, we got to start doing that one.
We do.
All right. Sorry.
Jimmy.
I'm here.
Do it. Do the
Here. We'll do a quick head count here because, YouTube, you're slacking. 661 viewers and only 366 likes.
Let's see what Rumble's got over here. I got 855 viewers and 179 likes. Come on.
God damn it.
I didn't want to do it, but you guys make me do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
All right.
That's brutal every time.
Start over here on the YouTube side. Ascension! Throwing in $2. He's saying, Jimmy, show your beautiful face.
He is. He's right there.
I'm right there, bro. Also,
right.
you called me beautiful and you didn't say no homo, so.
You are fined 1 homo suspicion point for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute.
You straight up had that coming.
You walked into that one.
You walked right into that.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Ascension's good dude. Love him. No homo. Let's see. Alex Patino here with $5. The followers of Emiliano Zapata are still around in southern Mexico called the Zapacitas, but after 1970, they just became another drug cartel.
Oh, well, oops.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Sacha, you're really pushing it there, bro. He says, I like my Jimmys. I like the way I like my Joes. Sloppy. Bro.
Oh, wow, man.
Dude. Homo confirmed.
You are fined 1 homo suspicion point for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute.
I come up with a homo confirmed one.
We also need to start keeping track of who gets how many homo suspicion points.
Might have to.
It might have to.
And they would get the Homo of the Year award sent to them.
We could do a Homo of the Month.
Homo of the Month.
Homo of the Month, yeah.
There you go.
But they'll start competing to be the Homo of the Month. Will start competing to be the Homo of the Month.
Yeah, they will.
Carry on.
That'd be funny, though.
It would be fun.
Not a bad account. Our favorite troll of the evening. It says, do you support President Harris or insurrectionists?
I'm sorry.
Wait, first of all, there is no President Harris.
No.
No.
And number one, you will know when there's an insurrection.
Yeah.
What happened on January 6th was not.
No. Yeah, it's not an insurrection.
And did they not try to impeach over that and it didn't stick?
Yeah.
All right, get the hell out of here with that bullshit.
Anyway, there is no President Harris. Carry on.
Let's see. Chad Layton, he's dropping a $20 bill with no comment there.
Thank you, sir.
Right,
Thank you.
Solon the Lich with a 50 ARS here. Mr. Popp and Mr. Dwarf. People in the Turd Flinging Monkey show asked if you two would have a show with him. Maybe on Rumble. YouTube hates Navy chimps.
Turd Flinging Monkey. Yeah, we've coordinated with him in the past. I don't have a problem doing a show with him.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's a decent dude.
Maybe we could have like a Lollapalooza of these weird shows.
Maybe, yeah.
Lollapalooza.
Lollapalooza.
Stop
I like
it.
that.
Yep.
The Lollapalooza.
God damn it.
Alrighty. Core 1783 here. He's dropping $20. He's giving us a big old thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. You bastard jumped on me. Let's see. Garrett Grant here dropping $5. No comment. Thank you very much, good sir. Hermitage Prepper here with $10. He says, thanks for noticing, guys. Strange counter signal in the Bolsheviks banned private bank and Freemasonry very early on. Doesn't jive with what I know about our funny little banker friends.
Yep.
What are you going to do? It's there. I mean, it's literally written down in that time period.
Yep.
So what are you going to do?
Yep. Let's see. Shark Dangers here with $5. Black Pigeon Speaks did a semi-recent video about military recruitment and talking about how the bankers have turned nations into economic zones.
Yes,
that is correct.
Black Pigeon is actually a Canadian guy who hangs out in Japan that I know of. I've been following him for years.
So have I.
The dude's hella smart.
Yeah.
There you go. See, Mighty Mouse Malibu, he's got 2 in a row here. First one for $10. Says the first one, poison pellet, a tiny BB with amount of ricin, a ridiculously strong toxin synthesized from the castor bean. He was jabbed in the leg with an umbrella.
Yes.
Yes.
And the castor bean or the oleander plant. Not that I would know. Anyway.
Yeah. And Mighty Mouse's second one here says, have you guys seen / heard about the Trump gunshots recording very obviously different weapons, not including the counter sniper? Smells like Vegas. No.
Yes. The second shooter is definitely back on the table. But let's be honest. If you have one person there who's going to take the fall, either instantly get evaporated or get caught and captured and persecuted, he becomes the pinnacle, the patsy, and then you could have 1 or 2 or more people there that are going to get a free pass, because more than likely they're going to get away with it.
Yep. And I have seen both video footage from the water tower shooter, putting that in quotations. It's pixelated nonsense that you can't make out. So that's
I've
blow that off.
Yep.
So with the cell phone footage that is out, there's actual footage during that time frame of the top of the water tower, and there was not a shooter on there.
Yep. And I have seen, again, this is also really shaky evidence, literally and physically. There's video of someone recording the window inside the building that was supposed to, harvest, where the police were at. Apparently, people are saying the shooter was coming. There was a second shooter in there. It's really hard to tell because it's like a 3-second video and it's all shaky. So
I'm going to throw the carry-on flag because we're going down the rabbit hole deep here.
Hermitage Prepper here with $5 says capitalism was coined by Sir Adam Smith in 1776 in his book The Cause and Nature of the Wealth of Nations.
Interesting. The Marx must have stolen it from him. Okay, thank you.
Shocker.
I appreciate that correction.
See, AF here with $5 says, if you want a spicy history, see who opened the gates in the Moorish siege of Toledo, Spain.
I already know who did. I know that story. We could do a whole Crusades show too.
Yeah, yep, we can.
Yeah.
All right, we'll jump over here to Rumble here. Let's see, first one here, Sarku with $5 says, what state with states like Massachusetts, New York, Illinois, and California, I believe that MA is Massachusetts, call far-left extremists, Minnesotans call conservative.
Yeah.
Well,
I've heard stuff like that. That and Minneapolis is now basically Mogadishu. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the governor of Minnesota is now the VP pick for Come Swallowa.
Yep. Not going to work out.
Nope. Let's see. MGTOW Mando here. He's dropping $2. Battle Dwarf. Try to do the Oswald with a straw. I am sure Popp won't manage to pull a Trump on this one. Well, you gave him a warning there, man. You got it.
What the hell? Yeah. And look at that. The sniper's a lousy shot.
I am.
There you go. LB Weaver here with $3 says those names sound like the Three Terror Stooges.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll buy that.
A lot of Three Stooges talk tonight.
I know. I
Long
wonder
show.
if Billy Von Vom is listening.
Message has been sent and received.
God damn it.
Mando here coming back again. Can you, Battledorf, can you confirm if Popp really was, and in Latin, Popp, Infectorum Ericus?
I have no idea what that is.
Too many syllables in a word in the language. I do.
Is that VD for
We're in
Latin?
Rumble. We're in Rumble chat.
In Rumble, yeah. The second one from
Find
MGTOW Mando.
this.
You can read Latin. You're a smart one. I'm not.
I can, in fact, read Latin. I am nowhere near as fluent as I should be, but
Yeah.
You're looking for that one. Let's see. Gorilla Bear. I believe we already answered this one. Picks were in Scotland, not Ireland.
they were both in Ireland and in Scotland. The Woads were also in Scotland.
But that's Latin for either unrecognized combination or insufficient information. Sorry.
Alrighty then, that's fine. I couldn't
go.
find the reference. Go ahead, Carrot.
Mando here coming back again. He says, of course, Louis XV was a freak. He was French.
14th, but
14th.
yes, the Sun
Sorry.
King.
Yeah, he was a weirdo.
Oh, yeah. I see.
He made a serious point of being a weirdo, though. His story is fascinating.
Yeah. Let's see. Net Guy 1975. He's got 2 in a row here. Says, hey, Battledorf, did you ever start your History channel?
I did not. I do have 2.6 Actual on Rumble, where I have been posting videos from the road.
Yep.
I will get there eventually. I have a time suck right now, and it prevents me from doing a lot of stuff that I would like to do.
It happens.
Yeah.
There you go. And that guy's second one, he says, hey, there you go, Pop. Have $2 on me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. Thank you. Let's see. Nope. And that guy coming back again, he says $5. Says, fuck, I drank too much. Now I can't count. Have some more. Fuck it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Fuck it.
No problem. Let's see. Sarku, he's coming back. Rhodesia, kill the English bastards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
That was the thing.
I know a survivor of that in Canada, and she is a hot mess. She saw her family slaughtered all around her when she was like 7 years old.
Yeah, that's harsh.
Yikes. Let's see. Evil Zombie Toe jumping in with $2 says the bankers want war. Trump was supposed to be the catalyst, and somehow it isn't even crazy to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Let's see. Had a couple more jumping over here on the YouTube side here. Got a Disturbed 2K7, $10. Did you read about Waltz friggin' off while when notified of a deployment to Iraq in 2005? He stood as a CMD sergeant major and didn't finish Rex, but claims he retired as one. Also, DLI class of 15. God bless.
I've never heard of this guy.
Waltz is the governor that was selected. Tim Waltz.
Waltz said he was. Yeah, he tried to give himself all sorts of medals, and then he quit when Iraq happened. DLI class of 2015, DLI class of 1995 here. So different worlds, man. But yeah, hoorah if you managed to survive that course. 82 of us started, 11 finished.
Yeah, but this
and that was
supposed
just
to-
language school.
This is picked for the next vice president.
Yes, that's
So,
correct.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah,
This is the same guy that signed a bill into law saying that tampons need to be in boys' bathrooms. So he has earned the moniker on Twitter, #TamponTim. And it was trending.
That's perfect. Tampon Tim. I think we'll continue to call him.
Tampon Tim.
I like that. We will call him that.
Yep.
And
And
they
we
had
got
that on Twitter.
on Twitter. Yep.
All right.
And Brad Kesner with his first donation to us. Thank you very much. It's $20. Says, maybe already covered. I don't watch the show until the next day, but New York posted an article on Harris VP military service.
Jimmy, your mic just went underwater on us.
Jim. You sound like you're talking with oatmeal in your mouth.
Oh, come on, you fucking bastard.
There you go. That's better.
That's better.
There. Sorry, I got to.
Swearing enough. Your mic quit on you because you were not swearing enough.
You son of a bitch. Fucking work. All right, let's see. We'll try this again. Maybe already covered. I don't watch the show till the next day, but New York Post did an article on Harris VP military service. You need to rip this apart, abandon his unit before deployment. Fuck that guy.
I have no problem ripping that dude a new asshole.
Yeah.
Yep, we can definitely do that. All right, we'll jump back over here to the Rumble. Try to hurry through these so my microphone doesn't fuck up again. MX Stilgar, Jerry Conway, good to see you, good sir. Battle Dwarf, Nambia, Togoland, and Cameroon, German East Africa, present-day Rwanda and Burundi, were all German colonies in Africa until World War I.
Yes.
And listen, man.
There you go.
Those Germans were fucking vicious as fuck.
I'm telling you, it was the Belgians. Look into it, dude. Belgian Congo was bad news.
Yeah. Well, the Germans were not very good either.
I'm going to have to see documentation until that time.
And Sarku coming back with $2. Public schools used to fuck over the black communities in America. Randy Weingarten.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the public schools, especially, near current year, those hellhole blue cities are run by African Americans. They have all of the power to do whatever they need to do to make their schools better, but they don't. Case in point, Detroit. Detroit gets an insane amount of money per student from the state, and it's still a fucking hellhole in there. Where's that money going?
I can tell you where that money is going. The school unions.
Yeah.
The teachers' unions.
Yeah. It's not going to where it needs to go. And you're seeing it.
You might want to look into who runs the teachers' unions.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that I can't tell you how many times in the past 20 years I've seen news stories come across about the Detroit Public School District and how much money they get, and the horrible reading and mathematical rates, dropouts, crime.
Yes.
It's just a clusterfuck.
Yeah. See, LB Weaver here, he's dropping $3. Says, anybody get into the Dead Kennedys? Great.
Oh, man. I missed the Dead Kennedys by a year. They broke up in 84 or 85 right before I started going to shows. I love the Dead Kennedys.
Nah, I didn't care for them.
Yeah, they had a couple good songs. I like them.
They had a couple good songs.
Yeah.
Holiday in Cambodia, for one.
Yep.
It's one of my favorites.
Yep. Let's see. Mick Tamano here. He's coming back. Here he comes with his puns. Pop, if a member of the mafia was a gardener, would that make him a weed whacker?
Well, yes, it would.
It'd be better if he was not. It'd be better if he wasn't a butcher, because then he'd be a meat whacker.
Okay, that also wow.
Sorry, I'm kind of.
We need our own. Whop, whop, whop.
Where's the sad trombone? Sorry, that one was bad.
Yeah, we need our own sad trombone clip. Okay, Karen.
Let's see. Ellie Card 1776. He's got a request.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. Where's it at here? We'll do the short version.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop!
I don't know what's so disturbing about that video, but there's something very disturbing about that video.
Because it's true.
That's fair. I'm talking about you dancing with the cats. That's true?
No.
Okay.
40 to 80 is a
40
long
to 80.
time.
I know that's true. I've seen that.
That's a long
Steve,
time.
Yeah.
what would you think is more disturbing? Pop dancing with cats or pop dancing on the cruise?
Oh.
I hate that
Why?
one, man. Why?
Why? Was that necessary?
I hate that one.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Carry on.
Carry on.
Let's see. Jumping back over here to the YouTube side, we got a couple more. Pete dropping $9.99. He says, "Here's some cash. Meat gazer."
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, man.
There you go. And Aaron Williams, he's dropping $5. He says, I'm a disabled person. How could I survive the Second Civil War?"
You need to get away from where the Second Civil War will take place.
There's one. Yeah. I mean, we could just email us if you're serious about wanting to know these things, because there's a whole lot of factors we need to know before we can give you any real advice on something like that.
Well, the first piece of advice is be 100 miles away from a major city.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Carry
on. Sarku here with $2 says, anyone remember the U.S. giving one of their spy drones to the Persians under Herr Obama's reign?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I remember that. That was fun times. Let's see. Sarku coming back again, $2. Have the leaders of the warring factions fight it out?
Unfortunately, most of the people who lead warring factions are pussies, and they will not fight their own battles. They only send other people to fight them for them.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a reason why Fortunate Son is a good song.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Suze McCarley here with $2. Good to see you, Suze. She says, I sent a Cash App and it booted me off, probably because I used the A word while trying to send money.
Interesting.
That is weird.
Cash App doesn't like the swear words.
I don't know.
That's stupid.
That's retarded. Let's see. International House of Whoop Ass here says, from Lincoln's death, we get the saying, well, Mrs. Lincoln, other than that, how was the play?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's kind of savage, but okay.
Yep. And I do remember watching a few documentaries about the Lincoln whole thing, about Lincoln's life and whatnot. And yes, his wife was a raging cunt.
Sounds refreshing, but it's not.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ellie Card, he says, Jimmy, give Papa Hillary.
Oh, God.
Come on.
I already did, because you mother fornicators wouldn't smash the like button.
Oh, yeah, that's true. How are we doing in the like categories anyway here?
Let's see. The numbers have improved over on YouTube. We got 593 viewers and 452 likes.
All right.
That's a lot.
Oh yeah, they've improved a little over here on Rumble as well. We've got 771 viewers and 236 likes at the moment.
Yeah,
could be a little better.
Could be better.
Yep.
All right, carry on.
Tomahawk here with $10 says, if I'm correct, there were no rules that states couldn't leave the Union before the Civil War if they wanted to.
I believe you are correct.
Yeah.
I believe that still exists anyway.
Yeah.
It is in Texas's state constitution that they can leave the Union at any time.
Yes, that is correct also.
Yep. And Single for Life. Jimmy, please play more knock. Please play more cock. Pop's dancing. I just did.
That. God damn
already
it.
Did. I had a feeling someone was going to...
Why do you
I had a feeling someone was going to request it, so I got ahead of you there. Barrett McMusing here with $5. Thank you, gentlemen, for another great show.
Thanks, Barrett. See you tomorrow night, bro.
Thank you guys for sticking around and giving us some donations, man. All right, let's see. Cliff3188 here. Would you gents be willing to do a historical analysis on the book set Source Records of the Great War?
Send that to me.
I have all 7 volumes, courtesy of my great-grandfather, that I'm willing to let you borrow.
Wow. Yeah, I would love to do something like that.
Yeah. Email redonkulas12@gmail.com. Pop can give you the details and see from there. Speaking of the P.O. box, Pop, you been there yet?
No. God damn it.
Dude, go to the P.O. box.
I know. Been under the weather. What do you want from me? Okay.
Let's see. LB Weaver here. He's coming back. Says, this fucking world is filled with stooges. Why certainly?
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not
wrong on that
one. You are not wrong.
Yep. Let's see. Trooper94 here dropping $20. Was wondering if you guys were going to cover the riots going on in the UK tonight, but a damn good show as always. Good show as always, boys. Keep saving lives.
We're going to try.
I appreciate that. I had a thought about that when I saw that. I think YouTube might strike us pretty hard if we tried to cover the riots the way that we would cover the riots.
Yeah. And I believe what you were saying, that they want to actually go after agitators from other countries.
stuff that I saw, I wasn't able to find any specific. They wrote the headlines to look that way, but when I read the article, it turns out what they're trying to do is get Brits who are outside of England and have them extradited back to the country.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I wouldn't
Little
put it past them to try to go after people, though.
Yeah.
Little side note: you guys remember the story about the 6-year-old girl from Britain that got arrested for saying, "Oh, you look like a lesbian," because the woman cop had her hair cut short?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I took a screen cap of that person and said, and the caption to that meme was, "I'm not a British police officer. I'm a cunt-stable."
Constable.
Nice.
I like it.
Yeah. MGTOW Mano, he's coming back here again. Says it was supposed to be a hog slayer in Latin. Oh,
Well, sorry.
I couldn't find the Rumble thing. I'll have to look at that.
yeah. I'll grab a screenshot of that. Maybe I can throw it through the translator, see if it'll work.
Hogslayer.
Sarku coming back again says, does anyone else see the Umbrella Corporation symbol in the bottom of the pool behind Popp dancing?
I
I'll
didn't
take
see
a look
that.
at that again.
No, it's okay.
No, we're good right now, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Let's see. Alrighty. Gorilla Bear here dropping $1. Says Crowder did a special on Come Swallow Us Running Mate. He apparently allows wannabe trainee kids to get their surgeries in his state without their parents' consent and violating parental rights.
I'll go to jail for that one.
Yep.
To my kid, I would go to jail for that. And
Yeah, that's. I have made the comment. It is a good thing that I don't have kids and they are in the school system, and that school system is shoving that shit down my kid's throat. Because
I would go to jail for that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Alrighty. Western Citizen here. He says the Jews have broadcast hardcore Ornpay to Palestinian TV networks in the past to weaken the males and cause social destabilization.
That is absolutely true. It's well documented. They bragged about it several times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
Yeah. Ugh. Let's see. Dylan Sharding over on YouTube, he dropped $3. Says Astral Project Diarrhea into the Sink. Good show.
Thank you.
Just be sure to wash your koozie in the sink.
I'm not sure about all that astral projection of diarrhea into the sink thing, but okay.
Well, my novels are all about the main character can astral project.
I edit them.
Yeah.
There you go.
Your writing has improved over the years.
Thank you.
Alrighty. LB Weaver, he's got a request. Popp, it's one of your favorites.
Oh, here we go. I hate that one.
See, the thing is, your face fits so
I know.
perfectly.
No, God.
I mean, it really does. It fits like.
It is definitely a crowd favorite.
That's good stuff.
Moving on here. LB Weaver here coming back in. Don't worry, he doesn't have a request.
Good.
Says, I have a sister who insists that people who swear will never get right with God and will go to hell.
That's cute.
Yeah.
And
you think-
charming, but okay.
If you think the actual creator of the universe gives a shit about how you speak,
Yeah.
you're out of your goddamn mind.
There is actually nothing at all in the Bible about swearing.
Yes.
You're not supposed to take the Lord's name in vain.
Which
that
I
doesn't
do.
mean every swear word.
Yeah, I do that from time to time.
Yeah. My grandmother would smack you in the mouth for that, and she'd tell you to watch your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Literally, I have seen that happen. Not that I was on the receiving end of that, but
There you
Nah.
go.
My grandmother slapped me around a few times. I had it coming.
there you go.
Yep. I just got the stink eye and all that good stuff. So, but alrighty. C Cousins 42. He's got our first word not worthy tonight. He's dropping $50 here. Thank you very much, good sir.
Thank you very much.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Says salute to you all, Staff Sergeant C.
Hoorah.
Hoorah. There you
There
go.
we go.
All right. Looks like no one else over on YouTube.
We got one more on Rumble.
Nope. One more on Rumble here. Sarku, $2. The Three Amigos. Popp, Battle Dwarf, and Evil Shaggy. Get a hold of Billy.
Oh, God damn it. All right.
Let's see.
That's great.
Popp as Dusty Bottoms, Battle Dwarf as Lucky Day, and me as Ned Needlelander. Winning.
Get out of here with that shit.
I think that would work.
Ah!
That would be hilarious. I would laugh my ass off to that.
Wow.
Come on.
What are you going to do?
Fun. All right, we'll jump over here to Odyssey. We got 31 watching over there. And I got the pop-out chat here. All
What's
right.
up, Odyssey?
Let's see. First one here. Woo-woo. He says, preach albino smurf.
Preach albino smurf.
That's kind of savage.
Ow. Funny, but ow.
You're not short enough to be a smurf. You're
Not
a dwarf. But,
Yeah.
There you go. Big Mike's raging rectum wrecking purple-headed prostate puncher. Mouthful and a half. Oh, that's what Barry said. He says, Kiyakas and Iyasas is better than Christians in action.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Okay, I'm just letting you know what they were actually called when we were overseas. We referred to them as Christians in action.
I just call them CIA.
Yeah. Anyway.
Tatsuya here. Malcolm X was assassinated essentially by Farrakhan. He was assassinated because he was starting to moderate his rhetoric, which the hardliners couldn't have as they wanted their, quote, race war rhetoric to continue for profit.
Oh, well,
sounds legit.
I could buy into that.
Yep. Well, Malcolm X did say the biggest enemy to the black race is the white liberal. Just saying.
Just saying.
Let's see. Big Mike's coming back again. He says, have you gentlemen read/listened to Unhumans yet? A lot of information dovetails nicely with this episode.
I have not.
Unhumans. Please send link to redonkulas12@gmail.com. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Please send a link.
I'd like to check that out.
There you go. Calebon says, Razor Fist did a video about the Lincoln assassination.
Okay. Razor Fist?
I'll have to take a look at that. I like Razor Fist. Good dude.
Can you send us a link to that video?
Yeah, again. Also, Redonkulas12 at Gmail. Let's see. Big Mike's coming back again. That's the most creative screen name, but it leaves a bad taste in my mouth when I read it.
Phrasing.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Phrasing.
There's a Battle Hobbit. Are you also using the Black Book of Communism as one of your sources?
I have in the past. I haven't picked that up in a little while.
It says it's only available used around $50 to $60 on Amazon.
I'll have to find an actual copy of that. There are PDFs out there. I've got quite the little collection of PDFs of various books that I use just for resources.
Yep.
If a book is good enough, I will find an old copy and add it to my collection. I've got quite the collection at home.
Yep. Let's see. Austin 2245 coming in. I believe he's talking about the library coin, which Blake did a breakdown on it. Yes, it is. It says, this stuff's worthless. I wonder how much 0.01 is.
It's like 1/10 of 1 penny.
It's like 0.00004
1/1000th of a cent.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very muy poquito.
Yeah, very tiny. Fruity McBooty.
Alrighty then.
Based on this comment here, I think I know who you are, you bastard. It says, Jimmy, you're not supposed to use the mic as a butt plug on the MILF in your room, man. Wait until the show's over, at least, you nasty bastard.
Nice.
Wow.
Duly noted. Don't use the microphone as butt plug during the show. Okay, noted, and I'll be sure to do that in the future. Sorry, I might have to get a new plug-in for my microphone here.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
And Big Mike coming back in says, you're not supposed to carry the Lord's name in vain. Don't use it for evil like Aloha Snack Bar as you unalive people.
Ooh.
Okay.
There you go.
I don't know if that's written in the good book, but
I will find it. I was always taught, do not use the Lord's name in vain. Anyway.
Yep. And Calebon, he just sent one in here, says, email sent Rumble and YouBoob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Let me jump back over here. Speaking of Rumble, make sure we didn't get any others. Nope. Looks like we're good there.
All right.
Jump back over to the YouTube side. Nope. All good there. All righty. How's the MGTOW chat doing? Is MGTOWing?
You just want to see the garbage.
Hey, man.
There's not a lot of that here today.
Allegedly. Keep scrolling down, Popp. You'll get there.
Okay.
Trust me, I was doing that while my mic was muted.
All right.
All right, let's see here. Crazy Uncle here, starting us off here, says, I wonder how the erection is going to get settled. Ballot box or cartridge box?
Well, I don't know. I hope it's a ballot box.
Yeah, let's hope for the former and not the latter, because no one wants the latter. All righty. And Dark Mad Dog 21 here says, hello, Popp. Will you do a show with TFM? He says he's open to it, but you need to do an alt-tech show to avoid a ban on YouTube. Hey, Battle Dwarf, I researched Salvador Montanza. Sorry. No ill will, but why the U.S. was involved and why did they get full amnesty? Something is fishy. No ill will because the natives would have become the illegals or MS-13 you were dealing with. Some of them. RIP for the innocents. Anyone looking at civil wars should look at the Salvador coup attempts in our history.
Oh gosh, the Salvador stuff, dude, that was a absolute mess, and we know perfectly well that Christians in Action was involved in that one.
Yeah,
they were heavily involved in that. I'd appreciate if you threw me a couple of those links. I haven't looked at any of that in a while.
If I recall,
we studied some of that at a couple of the intelligence schools.
If I recall, the 80 Deuce went down there for a while too.
Mm-hmm. There were elements of group too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Fun times. And Crazy Uncle coming back with two in a row here. His first one. A question primarily to the Battle Dwarf. But Popp, I want your answer too. The more I research for my channel, the more I believe very large sections of history have not been altered, but completely erased. Are you of the same mind?
I'd have to agree with you.
Yep.
The victors write history, and sometimes the victors are not always the good guys.
Yeah, that is absolutely 110% correct.
As the old
McDonald, I know of a whole bunch of examples of that, not just in our country, but in others as well.
Yep. As the old Norm Macdonald joke goes, the good guys won and wrote history every single time. Isn't that a coinkydink?
We miss that guy.
Yep. And Crazy Uncle's second one here says, nothing in this world is more dangerous than a man with nothing left to lose.
Correct.
Absolutely 110% correct. Now, what about millions of American men with nothing left to lose?
That would be bad.
You and I were discussing that at Boff's tonight.
Yeah. Let's see. I have a poem for that.
Okay.
Continue on, Jimmy.
Alrighty. Dark Mad Dog come back and says, guys, I made a channel in case the Gilded channel gets nuked. Just in case. I don't think Gilded's going anywhere. But he says, by the way, woke is not dead at Microsoft. It's Bridge now. And by the way, autists are the future of the Western world. Some gamers are autistic and they are less emotional. Mostly on the right, as long as you leave them alone, and very quiet, and mostly want an extremely orderly society. Most are alone, and I forgot to say, the shooter was confirmed autist by peers, and autists have a higher percentage of violent outbursts.
Well, I'm not going to say you're wrong there, but, things happen.
Yep. Let's see. I jumped back over to the YouTube just to make sure before we get the cash apps out of the way here. And not sure drops $4.99. I'm gonna let you guys think of this one. What do you get when you mix Viagra and laxatives?
Oh man, come on now.
What?
Fucking shit.
Okay. Gotcha.
Channeled my inner Tourette's guy on that one.
Yeah, so you're pushing poop.
Yep. Let's see. Alley Card 1776 back over on Rumble here says, I had to redesign my bike cart, so I'm good.
All right.
All right.
All righty. That does that for the Rumbles. They're all caught up there. All righty. That means we need to get any lemons over on D Live here. I imagine probably not. That's all good. But we got
a few cash apps.
how many viewers we got over here tonight? I don't know. It's not telling me.
On what?
Bastards. Not telling me how many over on D Live there. Normally it does.
Eh.
Oh well. Let's see. And over on the Twitch, because we are over there tonight, we got 11 watching over there. So normal night. All righty, we'll jump over to the cash apps here before we call it a night. Let's see here. I got first one here. It'll open up, you bastard. HKC's dropping us $5. Says, thank you guys. You guys rock.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. All righty, let's see here. Vincent Van Gogh, fuck yourself. Love that guy. Dropping $5 says, for MLK Jr. assassination email. All righty, let's see here. Says, I saw somewhere that MLK actually survived his assassination, was taken to a specific hospital in Memphis that I guess some mob owners ran. They kicked out the nurses of his room and put a pillow over his head, suffocating him.
Wouldn't surprise me.
That wouldn't surprise me, but I have never seen any actual evidence of anything like that. And that just means that I haven't seen any evidence of that.
That's right.
Carry on.
Yep. Alrighty. And there's the $20 from Suze McCarley there. She says, an extra not assassinated Jackson for you.
So she was saying the A word was not a swear word. It was the assassination.
The funny thing is, it's not the entire word. It's just the ass part that's starred out.
Okay.
All right.
It did go through. So just so that we know. Let's see. We got Stuart here. He's dropping us 25 for many common threads through history for assassination.
Yeah, there seem to have been a lot of common threads in there, particularly on the American side of
that's why I picked it.
Yeah.
Yep. And for some reason, the word assassination is not starred in that one.
Bizarre. Bizarre.
How weird.
This is quite weird.
Maybe they only check every so many, because that would be a lot of filtering.
Yep.
That would
Well, Sue's put assassination in the parentheses, so I don't know. Maybe that tripped something.
I don't know.
Let's see. Lynn, she's dropping us $10. Says, for the Rothschilds, only allowed $10. Sorry.
It's all good.
That's fine.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. And it looks like that is all of the cash apps right there.
All right.
Let me just do one more quick run through of all the other chats. Make sure that we're not going to miss anybody else. Looks like we're all good on YouTube. All good in the Rumblies and the Dumblies. Odyssey is all caught up, so that would mean
safety briefing. Ready?
Over there, I believe. I think we're ready for a safety briefing, Bob.
All right, everybody. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and swim, because it doesn't work out. If you absolutely must fornicate, wear a condom, take it with you, or flush it down the toilet, because fun and games will ensue. If you actually have to get into any kind of altercation, run away first. If you can't do that, do everything in your power not to go to the ground, because that is where you get stomped out. Rack up, pack up, travel in numbers, because there's safety in numbers. Maintain your situational awareness, because if somebody is going to attack you, your environment will have changed, and it's up to you to see it. There you go.
All righty. Battle Dwarf.
Dwarf is an STR.
Roger that. And I forgot. Over there on the Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it, we got 26 viewers over there.
All right.
So, but be sure to give Popp a follow over there if you're on Twitter. It is a cesspool of stupidity, smartasses, and dumb fuckery. And if you can filter out the stupidity, it's a good time.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
And what else is a good time is head on over to redonkulas.com. If you ever wondering where the sources are, click on videos over there, right there at the top.
All right.
Click on the link, scroll all the way to the bottom. There you go. There's all of the links for every episode that we do. And, of course, click the swag tab.
All right.
Check out all that stuff. Get yourself a hat, sticker, all that good stuff.
We do have a fan who sent a bunch of pictures in of stickers he put on his car, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yep. There you go. Get yourself a Popp's Beer House, Detroit, Michigan beer koozie. Wash your koozie in the sink, and don't worry about getting koozie juices on your dishes. We got hats, patches, stickers. Hell, we even got thermoses, tumblers, hats. Again,
the whole
mugs,
deal.
The whole shebang. So go on over there, get yourself some good stuff, and well, that's my safety brief for the night. Go get yourself some swag. All right, take it easy, gents.
Take it easy.
Have a good one.